Whether you're into hunting or not, it's undeniable that swamp people awakens people's curiosity to a great extent. That's only to be expected of a show in which common folks are seen tracking down and hunting alligators for a living, while the motivations for these people are mostly monetary. The community of alligator hunters in the Atchafalaya River Basin doesn't consider what they do as only a job, but a centuries-old tradition they proudly plan on continuing. This lifestyle earned the families their everyday bread, which perhaps makes it something worth risking their lives for. Knowing how dangerous what swamp people stars do, it's not a wonder why the general public is often curious about their well-being. So, who in swamp people has died? Stay with us to find out. Swamp People has been on the air for over a decade now. However, while the show usually feeds us with excitement and adrenaline, in 2012 we were saddened to know that Mitchell Guist had passed away, though some sources say that shortly before his death, Mitchell was repairing his boat or hoarding equipment on it. Every report agrees that Mitchell suddenly fell off backwards into the Belle River's waters around 9 a.m. on the 14th of May, while cruising 75 miles away from New Orleans. Mitchell's only companion during the incident rapidly performed CPR on him and took him to the nearest landing, from where Mitchell was transferred to Morgan City's Teche Regional Medical Center, but was unfortunately declared deceased. Although people theorized Mitchell's death was caused by an alligator attack, the then sheriff of the Assumption Parish Department, Mike Wagspack, primarily attributed his passing to a seizure. However, his autopsy later determined that a cardiac arrest was the natural cause of Mitchell's death. Condolences were soon to come from a History Channel and the now former Swamp People executive producer Brian Catalina, who lamented Mitchell's death by saying that the show had lost a really important part of our family and a treasured friend. Mitchell Guist was survived by his brother Glenn and an unnamed wife. Mitchell Guist rose to fame thanks to his appearances in Swamp People, but he was much more than a TV camera showed. Born on the 18th of May 1964 in Gonzales, Louisiana, not a lot is known about his early education and life, except that he and his brother Glenn allegedly lived near the bayou from the time he turned 18 years of age. Everyone who ever watched Mitchell in Swamp People knows that he and his brother had a great sense of humor and enough hunting experience to put the rest to shame. The Guist brothers debuted as hunting partners in the show, starting from the second season, but Mitchell only lived long enough to appear in 2 seasons, while Glenn was in it to the 9th. Needless to say, the brothers were very close, but Glenn wasn't the only one to miss Mitchell after his passing. On History Channel's official Facebook page, Mitchell's fans honored him with several heartfelt comments, some of which described him as sweet and inspiring. Though he's not someone to be deeply into technology, Glenn's post lamenting his brother's death can still be found on his personal Facebook account. At the time of his death, Mitchell was just 4 days away from his 48th birthday. The second Swamp People cast member to die was the young hunter Randy Edwards, though his passing was clearly a very tragic one. It all goes back to 2018, when Louisiana State Police initially reported that an unnamed man was killed in a car crash which occurred in Iberville Parish at 3 a.m. on the 15th of September. As described, the 2002 Chevrolet Silverado he drove struck a road pole while traveling in Louisiana Highway 74. It's theorized that the car had taken an unexpected turn to the right before crashing and overturning, resulting in the ejection of Randy, who was apparently declared dead at the scene as a result of several mortal injuries. The news of his passing was posted by his family on Facebook, stating they welcomed everyone's prayers, but wanted their privacy to be respected during those difficult times. Though it's unknown if Randy's car was recoverable after such a terrible accident, reports stated that impairment was most likely what caused Randy to lose control of the car, as despite taking toxicology tests at the scene, its results weren't publicly disclosed. Randy was only 35 years old at the time of his death, survived by his parents, brother Willie, his wife, and 3 kids. Although Randy wasn't as famous as his brother Willie and father Junior, he was once vital to the family's alligator hunting team. Randy's first appearances in Swamp People were during its premiere season. Although he didn't appear in it the following year for unknown reasons, he became a regular cast member from the 3rd to 6th season. However, then the show went through some executive changes, which resulted in the firing of many stars, Randy included. While his father, brother, and occasionally his mother Teresa were the only ones to continue appearing in the show, Randy actively worked in the family's harvesting and alligator hunting business. He was also a fisherman, but his most stable job was as a pipe fitter. Nowadays, Randy's family business is growing non-stop. As seen on their official Facebook page, Junior and Willie Edwards' fame have grown so much that they've even booked to appear in public events, although they had previously tried to sell a variety of products such as apparel and autographs. Sticking to what they're good at has resulted in the best for them. For her part, Randy's widow Terry lives a very private life in Plaquemine, to where she moved in August 2021 along with her 3 kids. Glenn Guist undeniably became one of the most well-liked hunters in Swamp People. His personality and natural lightheartedness was evident from his debut in the first season while teaming up with his brother, and continued to be some of his most memorable features even after Mitchell's death. Although Glenn is only credited as an official cast member until the 9th Swamp People season, he continued appearing in the show from time to time in the following 2 years. His most recent appearance dates back to early 2020 in the show's 11th season, and he hasn't been seen in the show since. It's hard to know what actually happened to Glenn. The latest post on his Facebook page is from May 2012, and he doesn't have any other social media accounts, leading many people to think he's not doing well, or in the worst of cases, that he's died. However, though his disappearances from public life is indeed worrisome, the fact that neither History Channel nor his former show's mates have reported any bad news about him makes us hopeful that he's alright, and will return to the show in the future. Throughout the years, many cast members of Swamp People have left the show for various reasons. Several have left for a couple of seasons to return later. Others have left permanently, either surrounded by a lot of drama or without much fuss. One of the Swamp People cast members the audience worries more about is Joseph Rogers Richard, Big T, known for his light-hearted personality, relaxed attitude, and for gaining the audience's approval in record time and without much effort. However, in recent times, life hasn't been easy for the big man. In early 2019, Big T was cut by a conditioner vent, though he described it as a small scratch. His diabetes ended up making the injury much more serious, flaring up to the point where Joseph had to undergo surgery for it. But things were soon to become worse. A bacteria, which he was told was inside the initial cut, expanded, causing an infection from his toe bone, one they didn't take care of during the first surgery. After undergoing more surgery, Joseph's bills were exorbitant, and he couldn't even work in that condition. A fundraiser campaign was set up to help him pay bills, and he eventually recovered. However, in late 2020, he was injured again on the same toe by a broken Pyrex dish, requiring yet more surgery to remove a glass piece inside the cut. In early 2021, his fans were shocked but excited to see him in one of the late 12th season's episodes. Although he hasn't talked about his health for a while, we just hope he's completely recovered by now. Tommy Chauvin's face is known to all Swamp People loyal fans. He appeared in the series intermittently from the 1st to the 9th season, aired in 2018. If you ever wondered why you never saw him again in Swamp People after that, we have some bad news for you. In mid-2019, Tommy suffered several injuries to his body after explosives were blasted near him. The accident damaged his eyes and eardrums, left many parts of his body lacerated, and worst of all, his right hand was so seriously injured that 2 fingers were amputated. Apparently, the reconstruction of his hand was in process in July 2019, but the expensive medical bills plus his inability to work made it difficult for Tommy to support his family. That's why a fundraising campaign was set up to help him, though it unfortunately didn't reach its $20,000 goal. It's unknown how the situation turned out for Tommy. The latest update of his fundraising campaign dates back to July 2019, and he hasn't posted anything on his personal Facebook account since December 2020. The lack of recent information about him is worrisome, so we can only hope he's recovered well. Being regular stars and Swamp People from the beginning, it's not a wonder people were utterly shocked at not seeing RJ and J. Paul Molinier from the 11th season. While father and son's exit from the series is unfortunate, it seems that life for them is going well. For his part, RJ's career in wrestling is thriving. In mid-2020, he won the Mississippi State competition, an accomplishment he'd achieved several times before, and was inducted into Louisiana's Arm Wrestling Hall of Fame. For J. Paul, exciting things have happened closer to home. As seen on an Instagram page, he spends precious family time teaching his 3 children to hunt. Although it's known that he also practices martial arts like his father, he seems he's left that behind in favor of becoming a swamp guide, as well as promoting local business on his social media. Will father and son return to Swamp People someday? We surely hope they do, but meanwhile, their time away from the cameras looks to be going really well for both of them. Just like many of Swamp People co-stars, Terrell Evans' family has preserved the alligator hunting tradition for generations. Terrell was actually taught how to track down and kill those animals by his grandfather, later on doing it for a living. Terrell has been an on and off presence in Swamp People since 2011, when he debuted during the 2nd season. The last time he was seen on our TV screens was in early 2020, and while his future in the show is uncertain for now, we're pleased to see that he hasn't completely stepped away from the public life. While we don't exactly know what's up with his life personal-wise, in April 2021, Terrell suffered what he described as a minor heart issue on his birthday that he fortunately recovered from. When it comes to his career, it's not clear if he continues hunting alligators, but as seen on his Facebook, he sells hardware and similar tools. In 2013, Harlan Hatcher joined Swamp People with his hunting partner T. Roy Broussard, with whom he had hunted for years. The pair are originally from Beaumont in Texas, but traveled to Louisiana during alligator hunting season. Both men appeared in the show during the 4th and 5th seasons, and Harlan briefly returned in the 9th one. He hasn't been in Swamp People since then, but he hasn't retired from alligator hunting at all. As seen on his official Facebook page, in 2021's hunting season, he skinned 669 gators with his friends and grandson Holden. Nowadays, Harlan also writes on the Bigfoot Groceries blog, which showcases a wide variety of recipes, not containing alligator meat. So far, it's evident that most former cast members of Swamp People are doing well in life, although others haven't had that much luck. Anyway, we hope to get to see every one of them on TV again, whether it is through Swamp People or another show.
Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.